Hello, how you doing? This is going to be a really short video. It's going to go over in what I think is the most important aspect of dry firing. So dry firing is practicing with an unloaded gun, right? So I don't have my magazine in the gun, so you just check, make sure it's empty. And then there's a bunch of things you can do. And I put out some videos, I've hopefully put out some more videos about how to dry fire, different exercises you can do while you're dry firing to do different scenarios. But I think there has to be a stress on just one motion you should do tens of thousands of times, thousands of thousands of tens of thousands of times over and over again. And I think if you do that motion lots of times every single day, I just think it's the most important thing you can do. It really connects to one of the most basic fundamentals of shooting. So shooting, again, is especially at close distances of 20, 30, 40 feet, which is not that close and is a realistic distance of an engagement you might actually get into. There's really only the fundamental of grip, right? Gripping, and then pointing at the target. There's going to be a little bit of aiming depending how far away the target is, but you just have to have a good grip, which we just had a video about. But then you just have to point at the target and do a minimal amount of aiming depending on how far you are, okay? So, but there's one motion. This is going to be the motion. The motion is you're going to start in this position with your hands, with your gun close to your body, pointed towards a potential target. So in this direction. And then you're just going to point out and push out slowly. So I have a little X on the wall over there. And every single time I push out, I try to make sure my gun, my sights are aligned with that X. I'm not trying to do it fast. I'm actually trying to doing it slowly. I'm focusing on my grip. I'm focusing on the gun going straight out from this position, from the ready position. So it's here. I already have a good grip. I push out. I remember my grip, and I'm just aligning my sights. Okay. Honestly, it's a little awkward because I have a shirt, but it's good to practice in clothing you might actually wear. This is not really comfortable or clothing I usually wear, but it could be people with real jobs who are not really police officers might actually wear button-down shirts. I had to wear it tonight for something. So it's good to practice in the clothing that you actually wear, not just comfortable t-shirts that I usually do. Okay, you do this. And you might say, you told me I should do this tens of thousands of times. Yes, you should do it tens of thousands of times. If you practice, if you want, you can press the trigger. But I don't think that's the most important though. Just getting this motion, make sure that you can point shoot to 10, 20, 30, 40 feet with almost zero aiming, if not no aiming at all, okay? Usually I'll bring people to the range the first time after they do a basic shooting class. They'll go to the range, and like 75% of people can I tell them, have the gun, just point at a target, don't even aim, and shoot at a target about 12 to 15 feet away. And like 75% of people can do it at 12 to 15 feet away. I always tell people, and I've done it, I can do it up to 30, 40 feet away. I can just point at a target 30 to 40 feet away, which is a pretty decent distance, and hit that target consistently. Not 100%, almost 100% of the time in a chest-sized target. And the reason I can do that is because I've done this motion tens of thousands of times. I do it every day. I just do it for a few minutes. But if you do it consistently every single day, those a few dozen times you do it, and if you do it a little bit longer, a few hundred times you do it every single day, adds up. And after a few years, a few months, a few years, you've done it tens of thousands of times. So since I do this every single time I push out my gun, and when I say every single time, I really mean 99.7% of the time I push out my gun, before I even look at the sights, my sights are already aligned to my eyes. I don't have to do any adjusting. If I'm, shooting really far, I'm shooting more than 15, 20, 25 yards, I might have to align my sights a little bit just to make sure it's perfectly aligned. But anything under 15 yards, 40 feet, 30 feet, my sights are aligned enough. They're centered enough. Again, they're not perfectly centered, but but they're aligned enough where I can hit that target as soon as I push out the gun, almost every single time. And the reason I can do that is because I've done this motion tens of thousands of times. So I put out a few videos of how to dry fire, and you should do all of them. But the most basic thing you should do every single day, over and over again, and incorporate to every single time you do dry fire, is incorporate this motion. You can eventually incorporate drawing from the holster in that motion and a little bit of movement. But before we get to movement, before we get to drawing from the holster, just make sure we have this down. Okay, hopefully some guys will actually take my advice and actually do this. That would really make me happy. Again, making you a better, more confident shooter at close distances of 40 feet and under is super important. That's probably where the encounter is going to happen. And if you can do that with almost just automatically, you can shoot to 40 feet automatically with almost no aiming, just having a good grip and pointing out. There's a pretty good chance you'll do better, or at least or pretty good in an encounter.